If you are a young person, you are probably walking into a series of traps right now. You will be told you must have a social security number. Then that number will be used to tax and control you for the rest of your life. You will be told you must provide your address and personal information in every form you ever fill out, whether you are opening a bank account or applying for a rewards card at the grocery store. Most of the information you provide will go into a central National Security Agency database with your medical records, credit card and debit card purchasing records, your driving record, your internet and social networking activity, your employment records, criminal records, military records, banking records, loan records, political affiliations and activities records, telephone records, and actual recordings of your calls, and where you were when you made each call, who you spoke to, and where you were when you were not making a call but were carrying your cell phone. This information, covering every minute and every detail of your life, more information than you can possibly remember yourself, is now permanently stored by government, out of your reach, and that information reveals all of your habits, your dreams, your fears, your weaknesses, your mistakes, and your embarrassments. You are in the first generation in history to have your lives fully recorded and stored in high detail by total strangers in central databases that you will never see. Databases that will be used against you as long as you live. You will be told that you must provide your DNA for some reason, and that DNA record can be used for the rest of your life by anyone who gains access to that database and by anyone who may find a drinking cup or a tissue you have used. That DNA record becomes your new name. Because even if you change your name, even if you never get a social security number, that DNA will never change. And that DNA can be used to identify you forever by countless strangers, good and bad. You will be offered a student loan. And if you accept that, you will probably be a debt slave for the rest of your life. You will get a credit card. And if you don't use that card in a very conservative and responsible way, you will probably be a debt slave for the rest of your life. Young people can be given loans, but they don't always have a way to pay those loans back. When you miss your loan payment, you get penalized. They want to penalize you. You may get a home loan. If your income goes down after you get your home loan, you may be a debt slave for the rest of your life. Or if that loan contract contains wording you don't understand, you will probably be a debt slave for the rest of your life. Bankers want you to be a debt slave. They want you to pay interest and penalties for the rest of your life. The government wants you to pay taxes. They want to take every cent you have and then make you work even more so you can pay even more. The thing that makes government happy is the money they take from you. I'm sorry to say this is not a fresh new world where you get to make the rules. There are already more rules than you could ever imagine. If you obeyed all those rules, you could not move 1 inch without paying some penalty. The pretense of making all those rules is that we need civil order. We need to protect society. Don't be fooled. It only takes a few basic rules to have civil order. The rules we have, countless rules, were made to turn us into slaves and servants to governments, to corporations, to rich and powerful people. Young people know that they do not understand all the rules. Young people usually go along with what they're told, thinking that later, when they figure it all out, they will somehow take control of their lives. But by then, it will be too late. You will have agreed to the terms and offers given to you. You will be identified, registered, obligated, signed up, and owned. You will have given your personal information to everyone who wants it, and from there you will have no way out. The reason it will be so hard to escape the institutional controls, the virtual imprisonment, is that you put yourself in those prison systems by simply telling them who you are. You do that whenever you give them your name, your DNA, your address, a picture of your face or your tattoos. The people who want to find you, to exploit you, and to take what you have will then know who you are, and that's all it takes. No one agrees to all the rules and laws and regulations. There are millions of them. No one has read them all. They don't care if you agree to follow the rules or not. The rules are just there as a list of excuses to take your money, to control your behavior, and to keep you in fear of the authorities. Everybody has to follow the rules, so it doesn't matter if you agree. All that matters is they can identify you. They can tell you from everybody else. They have information that enables them to single you out. At that point, they just pick a rule and penalize you for not following it. The rules, the force, the power is already collected and held by the state. Many of those rules are corrupt. Many of those rules are enforcing the agendas of private corporations. All that force and power is applied to the members. You are a member as soon as they can identify you. The first thing the policeman asks you for is your identification. The bank, the employer, the landlord, the school, the fitness club, you name it. The first thing they want is your identification. Who you are, where you are. Giving out your identity is not some meaningless, casual thing. It is the one and only step into obligation, tracking, loss of your security, your choices, sometimes loss of your personal safety. Your personal information is a major gift to people who know how to control you once they know who you are. When your identity has been compiled, you are automatically considered obligated to serve the state, to obey the laws, statutes, codes, and rules, to take part in the civic structure as a good citizen, to serve all the demands made upon you, whether that is recycling your trash, showing up to court for a traffic ticket, paying your income tax, or showing up for your dental appointment. The rules and systems are already there. So the force and authority is already there. By simply being identified, you have become a member, an obligated party. You have agreed to cooperate, to serve, to contribute, to show up, and you are not told that you have a choice. Young people tend to believe older people, especially people of authority, when those older people say, you do not have a choice. You always have a choice. That is what it means to be a human being. You have a choice. The power is in you as a living person. The only time when you have no choice is when you are dead. The greatest fear of the establishment control freaks, the slave masters, is that you will discover that you have a choice. By tracking you, by recording everything about you, they make you feel trapped. They have all those databases, all that record keeping, all that government and corporate surveillance, all those rules, regulations, laws, codes, and procedures, more every day. They assimilate you into that matrix by inserting your name. Not just once, many times, almost every day. They are making it harder and harder for you to be anonymous, to be private, to be secure, to be master of your life. If you want to maintain control over your life in these times, you have to be a little more careful. You have to try a little harder. You have to keep some of that information out of those databases. The more information there is about us in those databases, the less freedom we have. The more taxes and fees we pay, the more claims fall upon us, and the more controls are put upon everything we do. Just by knowing who you are, government agencies and private institutions sign you up, whether you like it or not. By simply having some scrap of identifiable information about you, they can access everything else about you, and they can put you on record as a member, a taxpayer, a criminal, an offender, a political partisan, a protester, a debtor, a registered member and dues payer, a suspect, a terrorist, whatever. It happens every minute of every day. And then somewhere down the line, you get a knock on the door. You get a piece of mail you don't understand, but says you must comply or you'll be penalized. All you did was let someone know who you are. Slavery happens in degrees, a bit at a time. By filling out an application, you become a slave a little bit. By providing identifiable information about yourself, you become a slave a little bit more. If they know who you are, they can tax you. If they know who you are, they can punish you. They can fine you. They can threaten you with force. They can demand compliance. They can demand payments, fees, and fines. The only person who escapes these things is the person who is, to some degree, invisible, private, or secret. In this brave new world, simply being identified puts you in a giant floodlight, and it makes you visible to all those older people, all those institutions, agencies, and even criminals who can so easily access your personal information if it is in the database. Once a piece of information is in the database, it never gets out. By far, the best way to protect yourself is to decide from the earliest possible moment to stay private, to stay secret as you have every right to do, to find ways to live and function without handing out personal information left and right. If you must provide information, provide as little as possible. Fight to stay private. Demand that your privacy be respected by others by keeping your records private. Make it a habit to resist and deny requests for personal information. Cut way down on the digital gadgets and the social networking. After all, everything you say, everything you show is there forever. You will be far more successful in life if you can focus on what you can accomplish yourself rather than what you can be a member of. When you join things, you are a servant. The only plan that really benefits you is the plan you create for yourself. Of course, to be successful, you must have friends, partners, and associates. Being private does not mean being alone. It means being conscious about what personal information you spread around, who gets that information, and what they do with it. Be ready to say no. Whatever you're doing, find a more private way to do it. I promise you, I guarantee you, that for your entire life, who you share your identity with, who you share your personal information with, really will matter. Because this is a very new and different world in which people are desperately seeking and taking your personal information. And when they take it, they have it forever. When they take it, they also take your freedom, your power, your reputation, your opportunities, and your money. They don't take your information to have it. They take your information to use it. Your parents may not have warned you about this because there were not so many databases when they were your age. But from now on, once you release personal information, it will follow you wherever you may go on the face of the planet forever. You can be found and you can be controlled with this information. These days, giving up your personal information is the same as giving up your life, your options, and your future. Be warned.